Subscribe now, if you're brave enough to keep watching. The Last Call from Unit 9, True Horror Story. The emergency lights painted the hallway red, turning every door into a warning. The smell of bleach was so strong it burned the back of Detective Lila Mercer's throat, but it couldn't erase what the building carried: old, damp drywall, stale cigarette smoke, and something faintly metallic that didn't belong in a place meant for sleeping families. Apartment 9C sat at the end of the corridor, the number taped over with evidence markers like a bandage you already knew wouldn't hold. A paramedic stepped out of the doorway and shook his head at the sergeant. "No blood," he said quietly, almost confused. "No struggle. She's just gone." Lila pushed past them and stood in the threshold. The living room looked staged for a showing. Sofa cushions straight, a mug of tea on the coffee table, steam long gone but the teabag string still draped over the rim. On the wall, a framed photo of a smiling woman holding a little boy in a winter coat, both of them squinting into sunlight. The woman was Camille Raines, 34, a nurse at St. Luke's, mother, neighbor, the kind of person people described as quiet, right up until they needed to say missing. The boy in the photo was her son, Ethan, 7, currently asleep 2 floors down at Camille's sister's apartment, unaware his mother had evaporated from a locked home. There was one thing that didn't fit the perfect calm. Camille's phone lay face up on the kitchen counter, screen lit, battery at 16%. A call log was open, showing the last outgoing call, 09 a.m. Unit 9, unlisted. Lila frowned. "Unit 9?" she repeated. The sergeant, a tired man with permanent worry lines, shrugged. "No such unit in this building." "We checked." Lila scanned the room again. A small Bluetooth speaker sat beside the couch, the kind people used for wit, a noise at night. Next to it was a baby monitor, even though Ethan was too old for one. The monitor's tiny green light glowed steadily, like it had never learned to stop watching. Lila leaned closer. The monitor's screen wasn't showing a child's bed. It was showing static, except the static wasn't random. Every few seconds, the snow swirled into the suggestion of a shape like a face trying to push through, then dissolving before it could become real. A uniform beside Lila shifted uncomfortably. "That thing's been doing that since we got here," he muttered. "The sister says Camille installed it last week. Said she wanted to hear the building." Lila's eyes narrowed. "Hear the building?" The sister, Marla, sat on the sofa with her arms wrapped around herself. Her hair was messy, cheeks blotchy from crying. She looked up when Lila approached. "I know how this sounds," Marla said quickly. "I know. But Camille wasn't sleeping. Not really. Not for days." "What changed?" Lila asked. Marla swallowed. "The calls." Lila held up Camille's phone. "This? Unit 9? Marla's gaze snapped to it, fear flashing across her face like a reflex. "She said it started as voicemail," she whispered. "Like, she'd wake up and there'd be a voicemail from a number that didn't exist. No caller ID, just the label. Unit 9. What was on the voicemail?" Lila asked. Marla hesitated, then shook her head, tears spilling over. Breathing. At first, it was just breathing, like someone standing too close to the mic. Lila's grip tightened on the phone. "At first?" Marla nodded. Then it started talking. The sergeant cleared his throat as if he wanted to end the conversation. Lila ignored him. "What did it say?" Lila asked. Marla looked toward the hallway, as if afraid the walls could hear. It said Camille's name, softly, like it knew her. Lila's stomach tightened. She'd worked enough cases to know that fear did know. Don't invent details like that. Fear exaggerated, sure, but it didn't create the specific sensation of being singled out. "Camille." "Tell anyone else?" Lila asked. Marla laughed once, bitter and broken. She told the landlord. He told her to stop watching horror videos. She told her friend at work. Her friend said it was stress. She told me, and I told her to change her number. Marla's voice dropped. She changed it. Twice. It still called. Lila's eyes moved to the baby monitor again. The static pulsed, and for half a second it looked like an eye opening in the snow. "What time did the calls happen?" Lila asked. Marla's face twisted. "Always after 3. Never before. Like a timer." A cold awareness settled over Lila. Tonight's call was at 3:09. Marla nodded, and she called it back. Lila turned the phone over in her hand, seeing the call log again. Camille had dialed Unit 9, unlisted, for 42 seconds. "Why?" Lila asked softly. Marla's lips trembled. "Because it told her Ethan was in danger." The sentence landed like a weight. Lila didn't like that. She didn't like threats involving children. She didn't like how quickly it made people irrational. "Did Camille say what it wanted?" Lila asked. Marla squeezed her eyes shut. It wanted her to listen. That's all. It said if she listened, it would stop calling. Lila looked around the apartment again, letting her investigator brain take over. No forced entry, no broken windows. Door chain still latched. The balcony door locked. A clean scene. And yet, Camille had vanished. "Show me the voicemails," Lila said. Marla shook her head violently. "No." Camille deleted them. She said they made her feel wrong. Like when you stand on a tall balcony and you suddenly think about jumping, not because you want to, but because your brain shows you the possibility. Lila's throat tightened. Intrusive thoughts. Marla nodded. Yes, she said the calls did that, like they could reach into her head. A uniform stepped closer. "Detective, we ran the number through the system. It's not registered. It doesn't exist." Lila stared at the phone again. She hated mysteries that didn't leave fingerprints. She hated anything that felt like it could happen to anyone, anywhere. She scrolled to Camille's contacts. There was a new entry, saved only yesterday. Unit 9, do not answer. Lila's pulse quickened. She saved it as a contact. Marla whispered, because she said if she saved it, she could control it, like naming a fear. Lila tapped the contact. There was a note under it. If I disappear, check the basement intercom. Ask for 9. Lila's eyes lifted to Marla. Basement intercom? Marla's lips went pale. We don't have one. Lila turned toward the hallway. The emergency lights continued to blink, staining everything with a rhythmic warning. Who has keys to the basement? Lila asked the sergeant. He sighed. Building superintendent, but he's out of town. Lila didn't like that either. She didn't like missing people and missing keys. She didn't like convenient absences. "Get me bolt cutters," she said. The sergeant hesitated. "Detective." Now, minutes later, Lila stood at the basement door at the end of the stairwell. The door was old metal, painted beige, with a keypad that looked newer than the building itself. The keypad's little screen was dark. As the bolt cutters bit through the padlock, Lila felt something she couldn't explain. The sense that the air was warmer behind the door, as if something alive breathed there. The lock popped. The basement door creaked open. A wave of damp, cold air rolled out, carrying the smell of mildew and something else. A faint sweetness, like rotting fruit. Lila clicked on her flashlight and stepped down. The basement corridor stretched long and narrow, lined with storage cages and pipes sweating water. The farther she walked, the less the air felt like air. It felt like pressure. She found the intercom mounted on a concrete layar. Halfway down the corridor, it didn't make sense. It was old, heavy metal, covered in dust, like it had been installed decades ago and forgotten. A speaker grill, a single button, a label made from a strip of masking tape. The label read Unit 9. Lila's stomach tightened. She turned to the sergeant behind her. "This wasn't here yesterday," he whispered. "Was it?" Lila asked, voice low. The sergeant's face had gone gray. "I've worked this building for 8 years. I've never seen that." Lila stared at the button. A rational voice in her head warned her. "Don't touch it." Another voice older, more stubborn, said, "Find the truth." She raised her finger, then stopped. Because the intercom spoke first. A soft click, a burst of static. Then breathing slow, patient, close. And then a voice, calm and familiar, as if it had been rehearsing for her. "Detective Mercer," it said. Lila's blood turned cold. "Who is this?" The voice didn't answer right away. It waited, letting silence thicken until it felt like Lila was the one who'd spoken out of turn. Camille listened, the voice said gently, "And she's safe." Lila forced her breathing steady. "Where is she?" "Unit 9, the voice replied. "There is no Unit 9, Lila snapped. The voice made a sound that could have been laughter or a sigh. "Not until you open it." Lila looked at the taped label again. "What do you want?" The intercom crackled softly, like it was leaning closer. "I want you to do what you do best," it said. "Follow evidence." Lila's jaw clenched. "This isn't evidence. This is listening," the voice finished, almost kindly. "It's always listening." The basement lights flickered. Lila's flashlight beam wavered across the concrete wall. For half a second, she saw something that made her stomach drop. A door. A door where there hadn't been one set into the wall like it had always belonged there. Gray metal. No handle. Just a peephole. Above it, a number "ST" penciled in black paint. The sergeant stumbled back. "No," he breathed. "No. No. No." The intercom whispered, "You can still leave, but if you do, Ethan will be next." Lila's heart slammed against her ribs. Marla's words echoed. It said Ethan was in danger. Lila stepped toward the door, flashlight shaking slightly now despite her effort to control it. On the floor in front of the door was something small and pale. A child's sneaker, Ethan's size. Lila stared at it, pulse roaring in her ears. She knew it could be planted. She knew it could be a trick. But she also knew one thing. Whoever, or whatever, was doing this understood exactly how to pull her forward. The intercom spoke again, soft and sure. "Knock," it said. Lila raised her fist, frozen between an instinct and dread. Because from behind the door, behind the solid gray metal, came a sound she had no way to explain. A ringtone. Camille's ringtone. And underneath it, faint and trembling, Camille's voice. "Layla, please, don't let it hear you." Lila's breath caught. Her hand hovered inches from the door, and then, from the peephole, something moved. An eye, not Camille's, not human, watching her from the other side, waiting for her to make the smallest sound, waiting for her to answer. And in the vibrating silence of the basement, Detective Lila Mercer understood the terrible rule she'd just walked into. The door didn't open with keys. It opened with attention, and Unit 9 had already learned her name. The eye vanished from the peephole. Not suddenly, not dramatically. It withdrew the way someone steps back after realizing they've been seen. Detective Lila Mercer lowered her fist, heart pounding so hard she felt it in her throat. The ringtone behind the door stopped mid-note, cut off like a wire snapped clean. Silence rushed in to replace it. The basement lights steadied, humming softly, pretending nothing had happened. The sergeant behind her let out a shaky breath. "Detective, that wasn't real. Tell me that wasn't real." Lila didn't answer. She was staring at the sneaker on the floor. Ethan's sneaker. She crouched slowly and picked it up. It was warm. Not body warm, but not cold either, like it had been moved recently, or like it didn't understand temperature the way objects were supposed to. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. She flinched despite herself and pulled it out. No caller ID, no notification banner, just a single text, appearing letter by letter as if typed by something unfamiliar with speed. "You heard her." Lila felt a cold bloom behind her eyes. "That wasn't Camille," she said aloud, more to herself than anyone else. The intercom crackled softly, pleased. "She sounded like herself," the voice replied. "That's what matters." The sergeant stepped forward, anger breaking through fear. "This is some kind of sick setup. I'm calling this in. We're sealing the building." "You can try," the voice said calmly. "But you've already listened. That makes you part of it." The sergeant's radio burst into static. He smacked it against his shoulder. "Dispatch, come in." Nothing but hissing answered. Lila straightened. "You said follow the evidence," she said. "Fine. Start talking." The intercom hummed. "Evidence requires patience." "I don't have patience," Lila snapped. "I have a missing mother and a child you threatened. So here's how this goes. You tell me where Camille the High is, or I break that door down." A pause. Then a soft sound, like a smile being worn. "You can't break what isn't fully here," the voice said. "Unit 9 exists only when someone is paying attention to it." Lila's jaw tightened. "Then explain the door." "Borrowed space," the voice replied. "Borrowed time." The lights flickered again briefly. When they steadied, the door was gone. Just a concrete wall. The sergeant swore under his breath and stumbled back. It moved. "No," Lila said quietly. "It hid." Her phone buzzed again. "Come back at 3:09. Lila stared at the message. That was the time of the call. "Yes," the voice said. "That's when she dialed us." Us. Lila locked onto that word. Us? Another pause, longer this time. "We are a function," the voice said slowly. "Not a person, not a place, a role." Lila's pulse quickened. "A role for what?" "For overflow," it replied. "Buildings accumulate things, noise, fear, thoughts people don't finish. We give them somewhere to go." The basement felt smaller suddenly, like the walls were leaning in to listen. "You take people," Lila said. "We receive them," the voice corrected. "Only the ones who listen too closely." The sergeant grabbed Lila's arm. "We're leaving. Now." Lila hesitated. Then she nodded. They backed away from the intercom together, steps slow, eyes locked on the empty wall where the door had been. The air felt lighter with each step upward, as if pressure was being released. When they reached the stairwell, Lila's phone buzzed one last time. Running doesn't end a call. They didn't look back. Upstairs, the building buzzed with activity. Uniforms, neighbors whispering. Marla clutching Ethan like she could fuse herself to him through sheer will. The moment Lila appeared, Marla rushed her. "Did you find her?" Lila knelt and met her eyes. "Not yet." Marla's face crumpled. "Then where is she?" Lila chose her words carefully. "Somewhere, inside the building." Marla shook her head violently. No, that doesn't make sense. They searched everywhere." Lila glanced toward the stairwell door. Not everywhere listens. That night, Lila didn't go home. She sat in her car across the street from the apartment building, watching windows blink out one by one as people tried to sleep. She replayed Camilo's call log again and again. 3:09 a.m. Unit 9. She noticed something she'd missed before. The call duration, God, Camille hadn't talked. She had listened. Lila's phone vibrated. A voicemail notification appeared. No number, no timestamp. She didn't open it. Instead, she called a favor in IT, someone who owed her after a messy cyberstalking case years back. By midnight, he'd sent her a secure file. "You're not gonna like this," his message read. Lila opened the attachment. It was a building plan. Not for Camille's apartment complex, but for the original structure beneath it. An older blueprint, dated 43 years earlier, when the lot had been redeveloped. The original building had 9 units, not 8. Unit 9 had been sealed after a fire. Official reports said no one was inside. Unofficial notes, buried deep in archived city files, said otherwise. One tenant hadn't been accounted for. Name partially redacted. Cause, presumed lost. Lila's chest tightened. The next document was worse. A pattern. Every 7 to 10 years, someone connected to the building vanished without evidence. Different ages, different backgrounds. Same detail buried in witness statements. phones acting strangely, intercoms activating on their own, voices encouraging them to listen. Lila leaned back in her seat, heart pounding. Unit 9 wasn't new. It was patient. Her phone buzzed again. This time, the voicemail opened on its own. Breathing. Then Camille's voice, quieter than before. Lila, it doesn't hurt. It just feels like being edited out. Lila slammed the phone face down, shaking. Across the street, a light flicked on in the basement level. The intercom speaker visible through. Ugh. A grimy window crackled faintly. Lila's car clock changed, 08 a.m. She stared at it. Her phone buzzed one more time. A final message, simple and calm. 1 minute left. Lila understood then. The building wasn't calling her to threaten. It was inviting her. And somewhere deep inside the structure, behind borrowed walls and borrowed space, Unit 9 was preparing to open again, not for Camille, but for the person who had listened long enough to follow the evidence all the way to the truth. The minute arrived without warning. There was no countdown, no dramatic shift in the air. One moment, Detective Lila Mercer was sitting in her car across from the apartment building, watching the basement light glow faintly through grime-streaked glass. The next, every sound in the night seemed to pull inward, as if the city itself had taken a sharp breath and refused to let it go. Her dashboard clock flicked over, 3:09 a.m. The basement light went out. Lila's phone vibrated once in her hand. Not a notification, not a call. Just movement like something inside the device had shifted position. She stepped out of the car before she could talk herself out of it. The street was empty, no traffic, no distant sirens. Even the hum of the city felt muted, wrapped in cotton. The apartment building loomed ahead, windows dark, brick facade sweating shadow. Lila entered through the front door. The lobby lights were on, but dimmer than before, as if someone had turned them down halfway. The air smelled stale, like a room that hadn't been aired out in years. The elevator was out of service yellow tape drooping like tired caution. She took the stairs. Each step echoed too loudly. Her footfalls didn't bounce back the way they should. They seemed to sink into the concrete, absorbed. At the basement landing, the door stood open. It hadn't been open when she left. Lila paused, hand on the rail, listening. Nothing. No breathing, no static, no voice. That frightened her more than any sound. She descended slowly. The basement corridor stretched ahead, pipes dripping steadily now, like a clock that had chosen a new way to count. The intercom pillar stood where it always had, its metal surface clean, untouched by dust. The masking tape label Unit 9 was gone. In its place was something etched directly into the metal. Not letters. Tally marks. 9 of them. Lila swallowed a and stepped closer. Her phone lit up. No message this time. Just a live call screen. Unit 9 connected. She didn't remember answering. The voice came through immediately. "You came back," it said, warm with approval. Lila forced herself to speak. "You said Camille is safe." "She is contained," the voice replied. "That's the safest state." "You threatened a child," Lila said. "Why?" "To motivate listening," the voice said gently. "Fear focuses attention." Lila's jaw tightened. You don't get to justify that. The basement lights flickered. You don't get to decide what I get, the voice replied. The concrete wall at the end of the corridor rippled. Not cracked, not broke. Rippled like the surface of water disturbed by a passing hand. And then the door appeared. Gray metal, seamless, peephole centered like an unblinking eye. Lila's heart pounded, but her mind was clear now in a way it hadn't been before. Fear was still there, sharp and cold, but beneath it was something steadier. Understanding. You are not a place, she said. You're a process. The voice paused. You take what people don't resolve, Lila continued. Unfinished fear, guilt, attention they don't know where to put. Buildings collect it, and you organize it. The lights hummed softly. You're very good at listening, the voice said. That's the problem, Lila replied. So are you. The door's peephole darkened. You think naming us gives you control, the voice said. It doesn't. No, Lila agreed, but patterns do. She reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone again. Not the call screen, but the notes app she'd opened earlier. I looked at the disappearances, she said. They all had one thing in common. The person was alone when they crossed the threshold. Silence. They listened in private, Lila continued. No witnesses, no noise, no interruption. The voice returned, tighter now. And attention changes we. It's shared, Lila said. She pressed a button on her phone. The basement filled with sound. Voices. Recorded voices. Camille Semde, the building superintendent. Past tenants pulled from old police interviews, all speaking at once. Not screaming, not panicking, talking, naming what happened, saying it out loud, filling the space with human context and contradiction and memory. The lights shuddered. The door rattled, its edges blurring like a bad image. What are you doing? The voice demanded. Breaking isolation, Lila said. You can't edit people out if they keep narrating themselves. The air thickened, pressing against her ears. From behind the door came a sound, not a voice, not quite. More like a crowded room, suddenly realizing it had been locked. The voice rose, strained now. Stop listening to them. I am listening, Lila said calmly. Just not to you. She took a step toward the door. The peephole filled with movement. Shadows colliding, overlapping, trying to align into something singular. You want someone to stay, Lila said. That's the rule, right? The voice hesitated. Lila felt its certainty settling into place like a puzzle piece. You don't just take, she said. You replace. Silence. The recordings continued to play, overlapping testimonies filling the basement with human presence. Lila raised her voice. You can't keep Camille if she doesn't fit. The door shuddered violently. What does that mean? The voice hissed. It means she never belonged to you, Lila said. She didn't come here to disappear. She came here to protect her child. The door buckled inward slightly. And you, Lila continued, heart pounding now. You need someone who listens for the wrong reasons. Someone who confuses attention with obedience. The basement lights flared. The voice dropped to a whisper. "Then stay." Lila didn't answer. Instead, she reached up and placed her hand flat against the door. It was cold, but solid. "I'm not listening anymore," she said. She pulled her hand away, the don't, or screamed not audibly, but structurally. The sound vibrated through her bones, like pressure released too fast. The recordings cut out. The lights went dark. For a moment, Lila thought she'd lost. Then emergency lights flickered on, red, real, harsh. The door was gone, just a concrete wall. The intercom was silent. Lila stood alone in the basement, breath ragged, heart racing. Her phone buzzed. A text message appeared from an unknown number. "Ethan is awake. He's asking for his mom." Lila closed her eyes. Upstairs, chaos erupted, doors opening, voices shouting, footsteps pounding. The building exhaled, sound rushing back in all at once. They found Camille in the laundry room an hour later, alive, disoriented, sitting on the floor like she'd been waiting for someone to remember her. She didn't remember Unit 9. She didn't remember the calls. She only remembered listening, and then not knowing how to stop. The building was condemned within a week. Official reason: structural instability. Unofficially, the intercom was removed, the basement sealed, the blueprints archived and forgotten again. Life moved on. But sometimes, on nights when the city grows quiet in the wrong way, Detective Lila Mercer wakes at exactly 3:09 a.m. to the sound of her phone vibrating once on the nightstand. No call, no message, just movement. And the unsettling feeling that somewhere in some other building, something is still waiting for someone else to listen long enough to open the door. If this story stayed with you longer than it should have, the next one might not let you sleep. Subscribe if you dare.